Good morning, everyone. Today, I want to share with you a simple but powerful habit that can transform the way you attract money and abundance into your life. It all starts with what you say before you go to sleep. Those last words, thoughts, and intentions you plant in your mind as you drift off. Our minds are incredibly powerful. While we sleep, our subconscious is still active, absorbing and processing everything we feed it. So what if I told you that by simply saying a few positive affirmations before bed, you could literally watch money flow into your life? What we feed our minds just before sleep has a significant impact on how we think, feel, and act. The first keynote of the speech, which focuses on the power of the subconscious mind, is a foundational principle in both psychological and self-development practices. The idea is simple but profound. Your subconscious mind is constantly absorbing information, even when you're not fully aware of it. While you sleep, your conscious mind rests, but your subconscious remains active, working quietly behind the scenes. It takes the thoughts and emotions you entertain during the day, and especially right before bed, and processes them throughout the night. When you go to bed with thoughts of fear, worry, or lack, such as stressing over bills, debt, or a lack of opportunity, your subconscious mind internalizes those messages as your reality. It doesn't distinguish between what you want and what you fear. It simply magnifies what you consistently focus on. So, if your last thoughts before bed are rooted in scarcity, you are in effect programming your subconscious to accept scarcity as a normal part of your life. However, when you become intentional about what you tell yourself before falling asleep, you begin to change this internal programming. The human brain is most impressionable in the moments just before falling asleep and just after waking up. This is why repeating positive affirmations at night can have such a powerful effect. When you say things like "I am attracting wealth" or "money flows to me easily," you are planting mental seeds. Your subconscious then begins to water those seeds during the night, reinforcing those ideas in your brain and influencing your thoughts and behaviors the next day. Over time, this consistent repetition begins to shift your mindset. You start to see yourself as someone who is worthy of abundance. You begin to notice opportunities you might have previously ignored or overlooked. Your brain starts to connect the dots in new ways, offering creative ideas and prompting actions that align with wealth building and financial success. This isn't magic, it's how the brain's reticular activating system works. It filters and highlights information that matches your dominant thoughts and beliefs. The power of the subconscious mind lies in its neutrality and responsiveness. It does not question your beliefs, it simply accepts them as truth. This is why negative self-talk and doubt can be so damaging. If you continually tell yourself you're not good with money or that you'll never get ahead, your subconscious will make sure your life aligns with those statements. But if you flip that script and start telling yourself, "I am financially capable, money comes to me in expected and unexpected ways, and I am open to receiving wealth," then your subconscious begins working in your favor. Additionally, affirmations said before sleep often bypass the critical filter of the conscious mind. During the day, when you say something positive, your logical mind might reject it. "That's not true," or "that will never happen." But at night, especially as you drift into sleep, your conscious guard lowers, and affirmations can slip in more easily. This makes bedtime one of the most effective times for mental reprogram. In summary, what you say before bed matters deeply because your subconscious mind absorbs and works with that information all night. Whether you choose to feed it with doubt or abundance, lack or opportunity, is up to you. When you use that quiet window before sleep to speak abundance into your life, you're not just dreaming, you're rewiring your mind for success. By doing this consistently, you create a powerful inner shift that influences your outer reality, helping money and abundance to start flowing naturally into your life. Your mindset shapes your financial reality. While external factors like your job, education, and environment do play roles in your financial situation, your internal world, your beliefs, attitudes, and thought patterns plays an even more powerful role. How you think about money, success, and yourself ultimately influences the actions you take, the decisions you make, and the opportunities you either notice or miss. In short, your outer financial world is often a reflection of your inner mental world. Many people grow up with limiting beliefs about money, often passed down from parents, teachers, or society. Phrases like money doesn't grow on trees, rich people are greedy, or I'll never be able to afford that, are repeated so often that they become accepted as true. These beliefs sink into the subconscious and begin to guide behavior without us even realizing it. If you believe that money is hard to get, or that you don't deserve wealth, you will subconsciously act in ways that reinforce that belief. You might undercharge for your services, avoid taking financial risks, or ignore new opportunities, simply because your mind has been conditioned to think small. Conversely, when you start shifting your mindset toward abundance, your reality begins to change. This doesn't mean ignoring your current challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It means choosing to believe that things can get better, that money can flow to you, and that you are capable of handling and growing your wealth. It's a subtle but powerful shift from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. A scarcity mindset says, there's never enough, while an abundance mindset says, there's always more on the way. This mental shift opens the door to new possibilities. You begin to approach life differently. Instead of seeing problems, you start to see potential solutions. Instead of envying those who are successful, you begin to learn from them. Instead of thinking, I can't afford that, you begin asking, how can I afford that? These small shifts in thinking can lead to big changes in behavior, and those changes are what lead to better financial results over time. Your mindset also affects your energy and the way you present yourself to the world. People who believe in their own worth and potential tend to be more confident, proactive, and focused. They attract better opportunities and are more willing to take the kinds of calculated risks that lead to financial growth. On the other hand, those who doubt themselves or see the world through a lens of lack often miss out, not because they aren't capable, but because they never fully step into their potential. One powerful way to begin changing your mindset is through intentional daily practices, like affirmations, visualization, journaling, and surrounding yourself with positive influence. By consistently feeding your mind with empowering beliefs, you gradually overwrite old programming that may have held you back for years. Saying affirmations like I am financially abundant, I create opportunities for wealth, or money comes to me with ease, may feel strange at first, especially if your current reality doesn't match those words. But the purpose is to train your brain to focus on what is possible, rather than what is lacking. Over time, these positive thoughts become familiar and believable. You begin to act in alignment with them. And as your actions change, so does your reality. Your mindset acts like a magnet, pulling experiences toward you that match your dominant beliefs. This is why shifting your thoughts around money is not just helpful, it's essential. By cultivating a mindset rooted in abundance, possibility, and self-worth, you position yourself to create a financial reality that reflects those inner truths. Your mindset is the starting point of every financial breakthrough, and when you change it, everything else begins to change too. One of the most effective tools for reshaping your beliefs and attracting abundance is the consistent use of positive affirmation. The third keynote in the speech focuses on how using affirmations, such as money flows to me easily and abundantly, can reprogram your thinking and create real lasting change in your financial life. Affirmations are more than just feel-good phrases. They are intentional, positive statements that help redirect your thoughts, emotions, and energy toward a desired outcome. When practiced with consistency and belief, they can shift deeply rooted beliefs and align your mind with abundance, rather than scarcity. Many people underestimate the influence of daily self-talk. Without realizing it, we often speak to ourselves in ways that are limiting and self-defeating. We might silently repeat thoughts like, I'm always broke, I'll never get ahead, or I'm just not good with money. These statements may feel like facts, especially if they reflect your current reality, but the danger lies in accepting these thoughts as permanent truth. The more they are repeated, the more they get hardwired into your subconscious mind, forming a mental blueprint that influences your financial choices and behaviors. Affirmations work by disrupting this negative pattern. They offer your mind a new narrative to consider, one that supports your goals rather than undermines them. When you say money flows to me easily and abundantly, you are planting a seed in your subconscious that suggests wealth is possible, natural, and within reach. Even if you don't fully believe it yet, the repetition of such statements begins to weaken the grip of limiting beliefs and make room for a new reality to take shape. The effectiveness of affirmations is heightened when practiced at strategic times, such as right before sleep. In those moments, your brain moves into a relaxed, receptive state known as the alpha and theta brainwave states. These states allow new suggestions to bypass the critical analytical part of your mind and go directly into the subconscious. That's why repeating positive affirmations at night can have a much deeper and longer-lasting impact. You are speaking directly to the part of your mind that influences your habits, emotions, and default thinking patterns. It's important to understand that affirmations are not magic words that bring instant wealth. They are a mental conditioning tool. They work by changing your internal world, how you think, how you see yourself, and how you respond to opportunities. When your thoughts shift, your behavior follows. You might suddenly feel more confident asking for a raise, starting a side business, or managing your finances more responsibly. These small behavioral shifts, when sustained over time, lead to significant changes in your financial life. Another key to effective affirmation practice is emotion. Saying affirmations robotically won't move the needle much. You must infuse them with belief, gratitude, and excitement. When you say, "I am attracting wealth and abundance," visualize what that looks like for you. Feel what it would be like to have financial freedom, security, and peace of mind. When you align your affirmations with emotion, you magnify their power. Also, consistency matters. Just as going to the gym once won't make you fit, saying an affirmation once won't change your life. It's a daily practice. Over time, with repetition and emotional engagement, affirmations start to reshape your identity. You no longer see yourself as someone who struggles with money, but as someone who attracts it, manages it well, and thrives with it. In summary, positive affirmations, like "money flows to me easily and abundantly," are a practical, powerful way to transform your mindset and financial life. They help rewire your subconscious, influence your actions, and ultimately open the door to more abundance. It all begins with the words you choose to repeat, because what you speak, you start to believe, and what you believe, you begin to live. Repetition and belief are at the heart of any lasting mental or behavioral change, which is what the fourth keynote emphasizes. It's not enough to simply say positive affirmations once or twice and expect dramatic results. Real transformation, especially in how we think about and attract money, comes from repeated exposure to new thoughts and beliefs. Repetition strengthens neural pathways in the brain, helping new beliefs take root and override old, limiting ones. But just as important as repetition is belief, you must believe, even a little, in the possibility of what you're affirming. The combination of consistent repetition and genuine belief is what unlocks the power of affirmations and allows them to influence your financial mindset and ultimately, your reality. The human brain is designed to respond to repetition. It's how we learn everything from language to habits to emotional reactions. When you repeat something often enough, your brain starts to accept it as true, even if it wasn't initially. This is why people often hold limiting beliefs for years without realizing they originated from repeated statements made by others or themselves. For example, if you constantly tell yourself, "I'll never be rich," or "money is hard to come by," your brain builds a belief system around that statement. It filters out evidence to the contrary and reinforces what you've been repeating. Now imagine reversing that pattern. If you begin telling yourself every day, "I am financially abundant, I attract wealth easily," or "money is flowing to me now," you are slowly reshaping your mental programming. At first your brain may resist. It might tell you, "That's not true," or "Look at your bank account." This resistance is normal, especially if your current financial situation doesn't align with your affirmations. But the key is persistence. If you continue repeating these affirmations daily, especially with emotion and intention, your brain begins to adjust. It starts to accept the possibility that these new statements could be true. Over time, those possibilities become beliefs, and those beliefs influence your actions. Belief is what gives repetition its power. Repeating words you don't believe in will do very little. That's why it's important to start with affirmations that feel possible, even if they don't yet feel real. For example, saying, "I am a millionaire" might feel too far out of reach and trigger doubt. But saying, "I am becoming more financially secure every day," might feel more believable, and still powerful enough to start changing your mindset. As your belief grows, you can upgrade your affirmations to reflect that growing confidence. The stronger your belief, the more your mind and behavior will align with those beliefs, guiding you to take actions that support your new financial reality. Another important point is that your subconscious mind responds not just to words, but to emotion. When you repeat affirmations with emotion, hope, gratitude, excitement, they become even more powerful. Emotion acts like glue, helping those words stick in your subconscious more firmly. So instead of just saying, "Money flows to me," take a moment to feel the joy and relief of what that would be like. Imagine what financial freedom looks like for you. Visualize the ease, the choices, the security. Feel it as if it's already true. That emotional charge helps bridge the gap between belief and reality. Incorporating repetition and belief into a nightly routine is especially effective. At night, your mind is more relaxed and receptive, making it easier for affirmations to sink in. When practiced consistently over time, affirmations become more than just words, they become a new internal truth. That truth changes your perception, your attitude, your behavior, and eventually, your financial reality. In conclusion, repetition and belief are the engines that drive mindset change. If you want to watch money flow into your life, you must repeatedly affirm your worthiness to receive it, and truly believe in that possibility. What you say and believe consistently, you eventually, which is the idea that when you set clear, focused intentions, and align your thoughts, feelings and actions with those intentions, you begin to attract the outcomes you desire, such as financial success or greater wealth. Manifestation is often misunderstood as merely wishing for something and expecting it to magically appear. In reality, it is a mental and emotional process that requires clarity, consistency, and alignment. When used correctly, intention setting becomes a powerful tool for reshaping your financial future and bringing more abundance into your life. At the heart of manifestation is the belief that your thoughts are creative energy. What you consistently focus on, especially with strong emotion, tends to expand. This is not just spiritual theory, it's supported by psychology and neuroscience. The mind has a filtering system known as the reticular activating system, RS, which acts like a spotlight, highlighting information in the environment that matches your dominant thoughts and beliefs. If your dominant thoughts revolve around lack, struggle, or fear of not having enough money, your RS will tune into experiences and opportunities that reinforce those ideas. But when your thoughts are aligned with abundance and financial growth, your brain begins to recognize and pursue things that support that vision. New ideas, resources, partnerships, or investment opportunities. Intention setting works like giving your subconscious a GPS destination. When you say to yourself, "I am open and ready to receive financial abundance," or "opportunities to grow my income come to me easily," you are telling your inner mind what direction to move in. But this isn't just about words, it's about the energy behind the word. Intention adds purpose and clarity to your thoughts. When you say an affirmation, or set a goal with strong intention, your mind begins working consciously and unconsciously to move you toward that outcome. This is why it's important to focus not just on what you don't want, like debt, struggle, or lack, but on what you do want: abundance, opportunity, and financial ease. Most people spend a great deal of time worrying about what they're trying to avoid, but very little time visualizing what they want to attract. The mind doesn't work well with avoidance. If you say, "I don't want to be broke," your mind still focuses on the concept of being broke. Instead, saying, "I am becoming more financially free every day," gives your mind a clear and positive direction. Manifestation through intention also includes action. Intentions are not passive, they are meant to be lived. When you set a strong intention to attract more money, you are also opening yourself up to inspired action. This means you start to notice opportunities that you previously ignored. You may feel compelled to start a project, send a message, ask for a raise, or learn something new. These nudges are often the universe responding to your intention and guiding you toward the path of fulfillment. Equally important is trust. Manifestation requires a certain level of surrender, of letting go of the need to control exactly how and when something will happen. When you plant a seed, you don't dig it up every day to see if it's growing. You water it, care for it, and trust the process. The same is true with intentions. You set them, align your thoughts and actions with them, and then trust that your consistent effort will yield results over time. Manifestation through intention is a lifelong practice. It doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect, but rather choosing to focus on the energy of growth, abundance, and possibility. When you clearly define what you want, believe it's possible, and act in alignment with that belief, you become a magnet for the outcomes you seek. Your financial reality begins to shift, not through luck, but through the power of intentional, focused energy supported by daily action. Abundance is not just a dream or a far-off goal, it is a mindset, Many people believe that abundance comes only after reaching a certain income level, landing a high-paying job, or receiving some unexpected financial windfall. But the reality is that true abundance begins in the mind, long before it ever shows up in the bank account. It is a way of thinking, feeling, and living that recognizes and appreciates the flow of opportunities, resources, and blessings that already exist in your life. Shifting into an abundance mindset is what opens the door to experiencing more wealth, both materially and emotionally. People who live with a scarcity mindset often feel that there is never enough money, time, support, or opportunity. This way of thinking creates fear, competition, and stress. When you're constantly worried about not having enough, your brain becomes wired to look for lack. You focus on what's missing, what's going wrong, or what you can't afford. This focus reinforces negative emotions, like anxiety, resentment, and hopelessness. It also leads to decision-making based on fear, avoiding investments, clinging to unfulfilling jobs, or missing out on growth opportunities. On the other hand, an abundance mindset is built on trust and gratitude. It is the belief that there is more than enough in the world, that money, ideas, and opportunities are not limited, but continuously circulating. When you adopt this mindset, you begin to see life differently. Instead of fearing loss, you start to notice potential. Instead of feeling like others' success takes away from you, you celebrate it and see it as proof of what's possible. You believe that money flows in and out, and that it's okay to give, to receive, and to enjoy what you have now. This mental shift does not mean you deny challenges or pretend that everything is perfect. It means you choose to focus on solutions rather than problems, on possibilities rather than obstacles. The abundance mindset encourages you to think creatively, take calculated risks, and remain open to unexpected sources of income and support. It helps you trust that your current situation is not your final destination, and that with the right mindset, your circumstances can evolve. Living with an abundance mindset also enhances your relationship with money. Instead of seeing money as something to chase or hoard, you begin to see it as a tool, a means to support your goals, care for your loved ones, and create a life of freedom and purpose. You become more intentional with how you earn, spend, save, and give. You recognize that wealth is not just about how much you accumulate, but also about how much peace, joy, and fulfillment it brings into your life. One practical way to cultivate this mindset is through daily gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's already present. When you regularly acknowledge the good in your life, no matter how small, you begin to feel more abundant. This emotional shift signals to your subconscious mind that you are already living in abundance, which attracts more of the same into your life. Over time, gratitude becomes a habit, and abundance becomes a natural part of your thinking. Another important factor is your environment. Surrounding yourself with people who think abundantly, who uplift and support you, can dramatically influence your own mindset, whether through books, podcasts, mentors, or community. Exposing yourself to the language and habits of abundance reinforces your own belief in it. Ultimately, the abundance mindset is a daily choice. It's not about denying the realities of life, but about deciding to face them with faith, resourcefulness, and confidence. When you make that shift, you don't just wait for money to flow, you create the conditions for. You begin to align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with prosperity, and that is when abundance stops being just a dream and becomes your reality.